Hey, what's up, John? This is a demo video for you for your custom Saberforge saber. This is a pretty long saber, probably one of the longest sabers that I've done. A single saber. Normally when I see them this long, they'd almost be a staff. So this was very unique. It gave me a lot of length to work on with the chassis. Not a whole lot of diameter space though, because as you can see, that handle is pretty slim. But we got it all together. You had asked me to design you a chassis with a crystal chamber. You wanted some metal parts, so that's what we did. You had mentioned also that you wanted your activation switch to match your blade. So what I did was I came over here. This is a 2-switch setup, but this front switch is going to be your activation. This is a 6 Neopixel accent switch from KR Sabers, bought through Smuggler's Outpost. And then this is your auxiliary switch right here. But since you wanted this to match your blade, I did not run it back to the board and program it separately. I ran it in line with your main blade. So anything that your blade does, this switch is going to do. All right. To get to your chassis, what you want to do is just unscrew your handle. When you're doing this, be very careful. Just take your time doing it. It is a super tight build. We're going to talk a little bit about what I try to do to the inside of your handle the best as I could. But when you're taking it off, if you feel any resistance, just twist the handle as you're bringing it back and it will come off. Okay, and this is, of course, your chassis. We'll go over this in a second. Your handle, a little bit of inconsistencies on the ID of the handle. If you can see that now, you have a bare aluminum showing in there where before it was black anodized, much like this right here. It was the same on the inside. What I did was I tried to open this up with my lathe to make it consistent on the inside. There was a small piece though right here in the middle that I could not reach just because of the sheer length of this. I don't have a boring tool that's this big even when I try to get it from both sides. What I ended up doing is I took your leather wrap off so that I could get, I could chuck this up on my lathe and bore it out. I take the pommel off, you can see that. If you look carefully in there, you can almost see that little black ring right in the middle that I couldn't reach, but I got 95–98% of the inside of this done. So it's pretty good now. It just makes for a tight fit. One other thing too is when printing with brass, or if I take a design and I print the material in brass, all of the dimensions are usually pretty consistent. I don't ever have an issue there. But you wanted aluminum. This is the first time that I've printed in aluminum or had stuff sent off to be printed in aluminum. And I find that that particular material does not hold my dimensions as true as brass would. So I spent a lot of time post-processing these pieces, getting them a little bit thinner so that they would fit in the handle as well. So it was a combination of post-processing on these pieces and chucking this up on my lathe. But everything works. I'm just trying to explain to you the long version of it's a tight fit. All right, so we'll start from the top here. This is your crystal chamber. This is the drawings that I showed you. I kind of made a spiral effect there. You have a real quartz crystal in there, and it has its own Neopixel accent right underneath it. Coming back over here, this is where your Profi is located. So this is your board cover. You can pop it off with your finger. There's your Profi board right there. You can get to your SD card and your micro USB. If you don't have a 90-degree data cable and you want to get in there and make some changes, this board is just a snap fit down in the shelf. All right, so you can come over here. You can pop that board up like that, do what you need to do, and snap it back down. It is a snap fit, and it fits in there just fine. All right, and when you're done with doing that, you can just take your board cover and put it back on. It is made to go either way. So there's no right or wrong way to put that on there. Just make sure it's all the way on. All right. Coming to the middle of the chassis is this little area right here where I put, what I'd like to call a secondary crystal chamber, but there's no crystal in it. Instead, there is a single Neopixel accent facing straight out. There is a piece of mylar on the underside of this aluminum grill area so that you get some nice shine through and it's nice and diffused. All right, so that is its own blade style as well. Coming down to the battery compartment, which is right here, you would ask me to put this on a hinge. So if you take this and you just open it up just like that, there's your battery. All right, you can come over here and you can take your battery out. I usually just grab a pair of tweezers, take it out. When you take it out, your battery compartment looks like that. So hit all the wiring in there, which was a bit of a challenge because this is a very small diameter chassis, but all of your wire is hidden in there. Spring side for the negative side of your battery. Just put your battery in, it clips in there nice and tough, and then you can take this door and you can just simply close it right over the battery and it stays closed. You've got a kill switch right here that will flip on here in a second. So powering this Saber on and off, you can just use the kill switch and you don't have to take the battery out until it's time to charge it. All right. And then lastly, your speaker. You have a 22mm Smoke Goes Out Post Nano Elite speaker in here. I could have gone with a 24mm and not had it fully enclosed, or this one and fully enclose it. So I'm a big proponent of if you can fully enclose a speaker, even if you have to step down one, most of the time you'll get a lot better sound, unless it's a 28mm. I wouldn't step down from a 28 to a 24 if I couldn't fully enclose it. But between a 24 and a 22, fully enclosed 22 sounds better in my opinion. All right, so and then lastly, too, you have a Carl Chen V4 Neopixel connector in there. So this has a bunch of LEDs on it. It lights up. We'll come over here and we'll flip our kill switch. So this one's got kind of a heartbeat here. You've got a nice pulsing in your crystal chamber. Now when you come over here and you turn it on with our power switch, now this switch right here is matching your blade. All right, so you've got a blue unstable blade and you've got a blue unstable switch. And I made this go solid, or this will stay pulsing when the Saber is on, but your crystal went solid and it does react to the auxiliary button being pressed. So does this over here, right? And then you've got twist off. So we'll go ahead and carefully put the handle on because this is a very long chassis. So you just want to take your time. As you're pushing it up, just kind of turn the handle and it will go fine. All right. For a chassis retention, I did something that you'll never see, but I took this main switch plate off right here, the one that's sticking up right here. I took this off, I drilled and tapped an 832 grub screw hole right underneath that switch plate, and that is what is holding your chassis in. So you'll never see that, but that's how we lock everything down. All right, and then when we get this all tight and locked in, we can hit power again. This is very easy to swing around. Nice two-handed. Got your switch over here. This is set up for a full-length blade, but I'm going to use my little test blade because it's just easier to show on camera. But a 1-inch diameter Neopixel blade is what you're going to want. All right, we'll come over here and we'll lock this down. Hit power, and you light up the blade. So you see that blue unstable. Blaster bolt deflex is just tapping auxiliary. Or if you want blade lock up on your blade, you want to hold the auxiliary button down and hit the Saber. You'll be able to see it closer to the emitter when the Saber is up and down. But then as you go horizontal with it, that blade lock up moves out towards the middle of the blade. And of course you don't see that here because this is a test blade. So again, blade lock up. Right there. You can almost see it there, right there at the tip, how it's bright. And it will go here and then back down here. And we'll twist it off. All right. You just have my sound font on it for now. There is a copy of the config file that I used to build up this Saber on the SD card. So you can take that and you can build from it. If you had multiple sound fonts, though, if you want to go to the next one, you just tap auxiliary. So this is my font. And then it also has a soundtrack. So if you want to play that, do a long press on the power, like a 1-second press. Okay. And then do another 1-second press to turn it off. Just like that. All right. So we'll go ahead and break this guy back down. Your blade retention screw is located right in between the two forks of your emitter right here. All right. And again, we'll just unscrew this nice and slow. Once you do it a few times, you'll get the feel of it. And then as you're bringing this down, just take your time and just twist the handle. As you're bringing it off, it'll come right off. All right, we'll turn this on, and then we'll kill it from the kill switch. And that kills power just like it should. So this is your custom saber. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope that you like the way that it turned out. And being that it is Friday evening, I will get this out in the mail to you first thing Monday morning. All right, thanks, John.